Hello knitters, or should I say stitchers possibly? Don't know. My name is Barbara Benson. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make my videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. If you have any interest in checking out my patterns, maybe to knit one for yourself, please look in the description below, and there you'll find a link to my Ravelry page where you can browse through the patterns that I have available and possibly get one for yourself. But today, I'm not actually talking about knitting. Today, I mentioned this in the vlog, my first vlog of the year. I have started the 1 year of stitches where I am learning how to do embroidery, and I'm super excited about it. It's something completely different. I mean, it's still fiber and stuff, but it's a completely different process, and I'm really enjoying. It's kind of like a freedom kind of thing. I don't have a commitment other than to do it every day. There's no, I'm gonna sell this. So it's just a different mindset, and I'm really enjoying it. I went to my mother's house over the holidays and said, "Hey Mom, I think I'm going to start learning how to do embroidery." And she's like, "Hey, let's go in my craft room and you can take home a whole box of crap." So I brought home a whole box of embroidery stuff, and including hoops. And I set up my first hoop here. And, you know, when the sky's the limit, I get paralyzed. I need some guidelines. So one guideline I made for myself is to start off with, I think I might do a hoop a month. I'm not 100% sure. If this feels done by the end of the month, I'll move on to another one. But if it doesn't, then I might continue on this. But to start off with, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something monochromatic. I'm going to stick it with one color palette so that I'm not trying to choose everything. So my mom sent me home with bags, and she had very thoughtfully separated the Ziploc bags into colors. So this is the bag of green embroidery floss, and actually there was one of these little guys with embroidery floss in it. I can't say I'm a fan of this method of storage. I think I'm going to go someplace and buy one of those little boxes that you can slot these down into, because these guys, they just kind of fall out. I think they're made to go in a 3-ring binder, but they're just not, I don't like them. So she sent me home with these guys and this guy and this guy. Look at this awesome, it's an old magazine. Yeah, it's probably not that crazy old. It was my mom's. What's the year on this? Due to 1997. It's not that old. It's not like this was my grandma's or nothing. But it's for crazy quilts, and crazy quilts have all these joins. And I'm not going to be quilting anytime soon, but it's got all of these super cool stitches that I could learn. And I thought that would be a fun place to start. And of course, I have found lots of YouTube resources for this. Look at that cool one at the bottom. So I'm going to be using this in YouTube to pick out things. The other thing I want to show you guys that I love that my mom sent me with is this little needle case to hold threaded needles. And I'm pretty sure this was my grandma's. Like, or maybe it was my mom's when she was little. I don't know, but it's got these sweet, you know, it's kind of off colored, but I'm very happy to have this. Kind of makes me feel connected to my lineage, if that's something people say anymore. But I think it's special, and I'm very excited to have it. And then one of my secret shoppers from last year, I got this super cool doohickey, which has the little razor blades in it for cutting. And it's great for yarn, but it's also fantastic for embroidery floss. So I'm going to be using this a lot. Now, I wanted to show you what I'm working on. So here is what I've done so far. This is my hoop. As you can see, I'm sticking with greens. Where are we going? Ooh, there I am. So the first thing I did was I made this big circle in the middle, right? how can you? You try looking at a camera and going backwards. So the first thing I did was this big circle. And then after I did the big circle, I did this. The circle is in stem stitch. Then I did this little straight line, which is in a cable chain stitch. No, not cable. It's a chain stitch of some sort. Cable chain stitch? I don't know. I think it's cable chain stitch. And I did that. And then I decided to come up here and do this little, I don't even know what it is. I made it up. That was me trying to wing it. It did not necessarily go very well. I was starting in the center and going out, and I learned very quickly that you should start on the edge and go in, because it's a lot easier to go in through the same hole than to try to consistently come out through the same hole. So that's what I learned there. And after I made this little dot, then I made this little running back stitch. I wanted to try out back stitch, and I did a back stitch around it. Not a particularly big fan of back stitch. It seems to serve the same purpose as stem stitch, and I like the way stem stitch looks better with the big circle being stem stitch. And after I didn't particularly care for doing that back stitch, I did another stem stitch, and I did this line across. And then once I had separated out that space, I started, this is called seed stitch, not to be confused with knitting seed stitch. I did seed stitch, and I had planned on filling this whole space, but for some reason it just felt like it wanted to stop there. So I stopped. And then I did these here. This is a braided chain stitch, which I think looks super duper cool. I did one row, and then I liked it so much I did another row in that contrasting, just a slightly different green because I thought it'd look cool. And then last night I did this other straight line, and that is a Hungarian braided chain stitch. So how crazy is that? And it looks super cool. So that's where I am. I have yet to do any stitching on it today, but I'm doing one a day. So if you like hearing about my embroidery endeavors, please give the video a thumbs up, click the like button. Also, I'd love to hear any comments in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions for stitches I could try, or YouTube channels I could watch, or websites I can look at to learn more about embroidery. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.